Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring you the best water elemental meta builds. All weapon types dancing in the Tempest. So this video covers the best builds for the water elemental weapons. These builds are identical to my Mizutsune best builds, so they're pretty much the same. However, in this video we will take into consideration all water elemental monster types. So I'll put in a note and we're going to take into consideration everything the water weapons have to offer. First, we're going to start off with the water element monster types melee damage comparison. So here we compare all the current water elemental monster weapon types in the game. This assumes maxed out weapons at grade 10.5, so all of these are maxed out at grade 10.5. As you see here, Mizutsune are the strongest thanks to the affinity boost given to them, while Koropuke Bouquet is slightly weaker than Mizutsune and uses Wyvern Gem Shards as their rarity 6. No, seriously, it's like really close, it's 2%. So if you built the Koropuke Bouquet weapons, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to go jump into Mizutsune. However, Gyrototus weapons aren't worth building unless you are looking at a budget option. 8% is a lot maxed out. At the same time, if you can go after Mizutsune and Koropuke Bouquet, there's no reason for you to go after Gyrototus. And don't build the Great Jagras weapons ever. As you see, Great Jagras is extremely underpowered. 18% from Mizutsune is a lot, and like 16% from Koropuke Bouquet is a whole lot. So if you're gonna go for a difficult weapon, because Gyrototus can only be in swamps anyways, you might as well go after Mizutsune or Koropuke Bouquet, especially if there's events, because they're boosted. Next, we're going to move on to the melee builds, with the first one being the best water melee build. Number 1 is going to be Water Attack level 5. So this build is the best melee build from grades 5 all the way to grade 10. So basically any lower grade all the way up to grade 10, this is the best. And this build can even be used at grade 10.5. So even when it's maxed out, you don't want to switch, you can use this one. And this build provides the max level of water attack at level 5. Koropuke Bouquet Helm also provides lock-on, as well as having Weakness Exploit level 2 and Critical Eye level 2, providing 40% affinity when attacking weak spots. And this build works for all of the water elemental weapon types at all grades. That's the benefit of this build. Literally, no matter where you're at your weapon, this is going to be the best one for you. To use this build, you need the Koropuke Bouquet Helmet at grade 8, the Gyrototus Mail at grade 4, Gyrototus Fan Braces at grade 6, Pink Wrathing Coil at grade 6, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. However, before I move on to the next build, we have Water Attack level 5 versus Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3. As you see here, Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 barely beats the Water Attack level 5 build at grade 10.5, with a whooping 0.54%. You see, there's this really bad mentality going around Monster Hunter now right now that the highest damage means the best. No, not all the time, because the only reason this thing beats the Water Attack 5 build is when it's at grade 10.5. So the Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate build has to be maxed out. However, at lower levels, the Water Attack level 5 build is the standard. As you see here, we have 6.1. You use Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate, you're at a whooping 41% less than if you're using Elemental Attack 5. So that's the huge con when it comes to Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate. It is far beyond the best build. It does the highest damage, barely the highest damage, and it screws with your mechanics. You have to dodge 3 times, activate Bubble Blight, and you have to relearn and adapt to whatever monster you're fighting as far as mechanics goes. It's not great, it's probably terrible, and when a new meta comes along for this gimmick thing, everyone that built Bubbly Dance can be like, I want to use that. No, you're not allowed to use that. You have to stick with Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate because you already put in a whole ton of resources towards that build. In summary, overall, the Water Attack level 5 build is best if you don't want to adapt to the Bubble Blight mechanics, and you don't want to screw everything else up for a 0.54% damage difference. 20 damage on average. That's what these Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate or Supremacist are cheering over. It's not meta, it's not great, it's only a very niche thing, and it's going to get taken out in the future as far as the meta goes with future updates. Moving on, we have the best water melee build number 2, as we were just talking about, the Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 build. and this build barely takes over the build number 1 and must be at grade 10.5 max. So unless you have your weapon at grade 10.5, you're not going to overtake the other one, and it's only a 20 damage average, just 20, 0.54 less than 1%. This build gives 20% bonus damage when you have Bubble Blight active, and this build requires you to dodge 3 times to activate Bubble Blight and to adapt to a moving around in a slippery state. So basically your movement mechanics are all going to be screwed up and you have to adapt to them. Kuropuke Helm provides lock-on, while the weakness exploit level 2 and critical eye level 2 provide 40% affinity when you attack weak spots. And this works for all water elemental weapon types, but only when it's maxed out to grade 10.5. So only when this thing is literally maxed out will it give you the biggest bang for your buck. So if you are impatient and you want to use this build instead of waiting for the newer meta later on, because we have the 1 year anniversary coming up pretty soon for Monster Hunter Now, and a lot of good stuff coming, you must use the Kuropuke helmet at grade 8, the Mizutsune mail at grade 6, the Mizutsune van braces at grade 6, the Pink Wrathing Coil at grade 6, and the Mizutsune Greaves at grade 6. Up next, now that we covered the melee weapons, we move on to the ranged weapons, starting with the Water Light Bowgun. And here's the damage comparisons, and comparing all the damage of the Water Elemental Light Bowguns. As we see per the data, Mizutsune weapons are barely stronger than the Kuropuke Light Bowgun. That's because the Mizutsune weapons have a 20% affinity bonus versus the rest of the water elemental types. The thing is, the Gyrototus and Great Gyros light bowguns aren't worth building for the damage gap between them and the top 2 light bowguns, which is Mizutsune and Kuropuke. The ammo types are also really weird, so I'm going to go over that in the next chapter. But yeah, they really aren't worth building, and more justification upcoming next. And here's that justification we were talking about, as we compare the Water Light Bowgun ammo sets. So here are the ammo sets of all the water elemental light bowguns. As we see here, Mizutsune has the best ammo set out of all the light bowguns. All of the reloads are slow. Yes, the recoil is very high, however, that changes when you use recoil down 3 and reload speed 3. And Kuropuke comes in second. It does have 4 sticky water ammo, however, the reload speed is really slow, so this can really mess up with your rhythm. And the Gyrototus armor set is just terrible with spread and sticky ammo, so it isn't even worth building even as a budget option. Spread and sticky, so you're going to have to go up close to the monster and then change your ranges, and then you only have 2 sticky, so it's totally not worth it. And the Great Gyros light bowgun, we're not even going to mention it. It's not worth building. Don't ever do it. Don't ever build it. It's absolute garbanzo. And now we went over the light bowgun damage. Here's the best water light bowgun build, which is water attack level 4, recoil down level 3, and reload speed level 3. And this build will max out the 2 required equipment skills so that you can have maximum light bowgun damage per second or DPS. This build also provides a high level of water attack at level 4, and it's thanks to the new Mizutsune helmet. Now you can get water attack level 2 with that helmet slot that never really had any use for water as far as light bowguns goes until Mizutsune releases, giving water attack the flexibility it needs. To use this build, you need the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, the Paluma mail at grade 6, the Gyrototus fan braces at grade 6, Kuropuke coil at grade 6, and the Azorathlos Greaves at grade 6. And last but not least, we have the second current ranged weapon in the game, which is the bow. And here are the water bow damage comparisons. So here we compare the damage of all the water elemental bows, and there's only 3 of them, so there's no Great Gyros one. As we see per the data, Mizutsune weapons are barely stronger than the Kuropuke bows with focus 5. So it's 2%, still 2. And that 3,569 is a very impressive number for the Kuropuke bow. Mizutsune weapons have that 20% affinity bonus versus the rest of the water elemental monster types. Despite this, it's only 20% with, again, at focus 5. And don't ever build the Gyrototus bow. It's really bad. It's not worth it. Not only is it 70% less, but when we view the shot types, it's not really great. Moving on, here is that shot type comparison we were talking about. So we're going to compare all the shot types of all the water bows. As we see here, Kuropuke bow is arguably better than the Mizutsune bow. This is because Puke has a special charge shot with rapid level 3 at charge level 2, which is 1 blink. So you can machine gun down rapid shots at level 3 to a monster if you're focusing on a particular part. Now here's the thing, Gyrototus bow isn't worth building. It's a ton of investment for the weakest bow with nothing special about it. The thing about Rapid level 4, Rapid is good, however, it's not the highest damage one in the game, and you're going to invest a ton of resources onto Rapid level 4, where you have to do 3 charge blinks in order to blast it. I had someone was like, oh, Gyrototus blow isn't completely worthless. I'm like, for the damage you get, or the damage gap between Mizutsune and Puke, and the fact it's only Rapid level 4, it's not great. It's accurate and does a lot of, and does medium, and does the weakest damage out of all the other shot types. So you have the weakest shot type, you don't have a special shot type, and it's Gyrototus. Gyrototus can only be found in swamps. You're better off just waiting for an event, and then building the Mizutsune bow and Puke bow by going after those respective monsters, instead of going against the weakest one that's still hard to find. And this brings us to the best water bow build, which is Focus level 5 and Water Attack level 4. Focus level 5 maxed out your ability to charge quickly, and this build provides a high level of Water Attack level 4. However, there is a big problem with it. It does require the Nightshade Palumu mail at grade 8, so if you did not play the paid ticket event, you'll just have to wait until Nightshade Palumu returns in an event. They said it would return, and that Nightshade Palumu mail is really great for elemental builds because it gives you a lot of flexibility when you're trying to get high levels of elemental attack and still maintain Focus 5. To use this build, you need the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, the Nightshade Palumu mail at grade 8, Gyrototus fan braces at grade 6, Rathalos coil at grade 6, and the Gyrototus greaves at grade 6. Hopefully this guide helps you decide which water element build you want to invest in. I did not include the Gun Lance here because that weapon would not primarily use water attack. It uses artillery level 3 if you want maximum damage out of it, and it's not going to it's not going to have a lot of water attack in it. So that's for Gun Lance. And the thing about Charge Blades is that if you're going to use the Charge Blade, consider the files your water elemental weapon has. The thing is, with the affinity bonus, it can offset that file damage because most of your damage comes from your attacks, not the file damage. So impact files aren't actually that bad. And in addition, if you could stun the monster, you could pump out more DPS going into your super amped elemental discharge, etc. So the difference isn't as bad as you would think it is. Again, more affinity equals more damage for all rest of your attacks. Your file damage is a very small amount of the overall damage you do with your Charge Blade. Please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully this did help you out. Hopefully you're enjoying the Water Elemental event, and you're getting to build everything you need for the upcoming content that water will be necessary for. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.